Good afternoon and welcome to our Webinar Wednesday series, a new webinar series that we're hosting every first Wednesday of the month here at RPI Consultants. My name is Sydney Isle. I will get back to that in just a moment. First, a couple of housekeeping things. This webinar will be recorded, so you don't have to worry about trying to record it yourself. And for those of us who are joining live, we will be sharing the PowerPoint, so you don't have to worry about trying to capture screenshots. My name is Sydney Isle, and I am the Senior OnBase Architect here at RPI Solutions. And for those of you who don't know us, RPI has been providing professional services and consulting in the ERP and ECM space for over 16 years. We have about 80 full-time consultants, project managers, and technical architects. We handle both Perceptive content, OnBase, and Lawson. And we have offices in Baltimore, Tampa, and Kansas City, Missouri. Some of the services we provide involve technical installations, upgrades, solution and technical architecture consulting, business process analysis, workflow design, business process and solution enhancements, custom development integrations, and of course platform migrations such as Perceptive content to OnBase. A little about me. Like I said, my name is Sydney Isle. I am the Senior Solution Architect and OnBase Practice Lead here at RPI Consultants. I've been working with the OnBase product for about 6 years. I am certified both as a system administrator and a workflow administrator, and have supported enterprise-class content management solutions for some of the largest companies in the US. But that's enough about me. Let's get started with OnBase, because I know that's what you all want to hear about. My favorite thing to talk about with OnBase is one comprehensive product with complete end-to-end functionality across the board, so from ingestion to presentation to case management and everything else. As I mentioned, we do document imaging, case management, business process automation, and data integration, so we can talk to anything in your system. We tend to talk about OnBase in terms of categories these days. We have capture, process, access, integrate, measure, and store. And let's go ahead and get right into the meat of that. What is capture? That's bringing your documents and data into the system. We have batch scanning, obviously. We have network capture for your disconnected multifunction devices. We have email and fax capture. We often talk about our Outlook integration as a fourth client, and there will be another webinar coming up later about just that. We also do image enhancement. I know in a lot of implementations you have to have a separate product to handle your image enhancement, but OnBase can do it natively. Our indexing solutions, we have Brainware by Hyland, which formerly Perceptive Intelligent Capture. We have Kofax capture, and we also have indexing within OnBase production document imaging. Now, once you have those documents into the system, what do you do with them? Well, we have one of the most robust workflow engines in the industry in OnBase, including Workflow Approval Manager, which is a relatively new feature that allows end users with the correct level of access to configure who can approve what at what levels in a workflow. As I mentioned earlier, we do have case management through WorkView Case Manager, so we can handle your claims processing or your HR onboarding or any other process that involves a lot of data that isn't necessarily document specific. We also have a business rules engine, which allows for automating those business decisions that get made over and over and over thousands of times every day and can really be automated. We also provide a business process management documentation tool for documenting and tracking changes to all of your business processes. So now you can have your documents, your data, your business automation, your business rules engine, and your BPM and modeler all in one place. Of course, having it all in one place, you have to be able to access it, right? You have to be able to retrieve these things. So we have a robust suite of retrieval capabilities, from document retrieval to custom queries that allow you to query across many different document types using the same search criteria. Cross-references to tie all your documents together. File cabinets and folders for organizing for those people like me who like to have a visual organization and have everything grouped. And all of these tools are available both inside and outside of OnBase, so we can publish these to internal or external websites and to other applications within your product suite as well. Speaking of integration, we have full SOA architecture compatibility. We can publish both REST and SOAP services through our enterprise integration server to interact with your service-oriented architectures. We do also provide point-to-point integration for many different applications, your PeopleSoft, your SharePoint, your line of business applications. We also have Application Enabler, which is always a crowd pleaser. It allows for screen scraping from a line of business application and indexing documents, as well as retrieving all documents related to the claim or account that you're working in your line of business application. It also will show you what documents are missing for this particular process. And for those times where custom code cannot be avoided, we do also have the OnBase Unity API. For all of these things, you do have to be able to measure what's going on, right? You bring your documents in, you process them, you work with them, you do all these things with them, but you have to be able to see what's going on. And that's where OnBase reporting comes into play. We do have our business activity monitor for minute-by-minute real-time reporting, report services, which is the big dog on the block for your longer-term trend reports, which has hundreds of pre-configured reports, as well as a business object style interface for creating and saving custom reports. And we have dashboards, which are available in Unity Client and will give you visibility to what's going on pretty much real time in your processes and allow you to dodge bottlenecks and address issues going on in your system, as well as just be able to see what's going on. And then we come to, how do you store all of this? How do you keep it safe? We have encrypted disk groups now. OnBase stores the files in what is called disk groups, and those files are encrypted with 256-bit encryption, which is great for those of you who need HIPAA compliance or payment card compliance or other forms of government regulatory compliance. We do publish all files in native formats, so if you import a Word doc, it comes back out to you as a Word doc, or a PDF, or whatever file type you bring in is what you get out. We also are compatible with single sign-on, so that all the security can get configured at the Active Directory level. All user access can be brokered via Active Directory groups instead of having to do things a second time inside OnBase. We also provide document retention, and there's a lot of people don't talk about this a lot, but the fact of the matter is documents don't need to be kept around forever. And if you keep them around for too long, it can cause problems in your system with too much storage consumption, and it can also leave an organization vulnerable to liability. For that reason, we have the document retention module to destroy data and documents on a schedule with approvals. We also, for business continuity and disaster recovery, OnBase comes out of the box with multiple copies and the ability to save to off-site backups as needed. So you are covered 360 degrees. And I think that's quite enough of me talking for a few minutes. So while we're here, let's get down to it and show you some of OnBase in action. Okay, welcome to OnBase Unity Client. What you're seeing in front of you is the home screen, which is fully customizable, and you can change or move any of these tiles around to suit your needs. You can also set, add tiles, remove tiles, change colors, change names, whatever you need to. This is basically your landing page where you're going to start your day. We're going to go up and start with importing a document. Come up to the import screen. And you can browse. Pick your document to upload. Choose your document type. Look up your candidate. Index your document and import it. It's as simple as that. And we are going to close out of that. Sorry about that. Come back to our Unity client. Go back to our personal page. Now say you need to process an invoice. You pull up your invoice right here. Come over to your Tasks tab, where you have several customized tasks here. All of these are fully configurable. And if you are an AP manager, you can come in here and immediately submit this for approval. And it will come. I'm on a manager level, so I have access to everything. So this is coming straight back to me to approve it as the manager. So I click approve. And I can even post to my ERP system. Remove from workflow, and it's done. And it really is that simple to move around in OnBase. Now, say that you need to go do some research. Say this invoice needs some more information. You need to do some research. You come up here to Custom Queries, AP Document Search, and you can search for, say, vendor name. Say you're not 100% sure of the vendor name. You put wildcards around it. And I may have the wrong vendor name here. So let's do by date. For the last month. And say this is the invoice we want to look at. We pull it up. And we can click on our cross-references, and it will show us all the documents here that are related to this invoice. So we have our purchase order, we have our packing slip. This is in good order now. Say it didn't have those a couple days ago. And this is already ready to be posted. And we go back to our personal page, and we're right back where we belong. And say you need to see what invoices are currently in the system, what status they're in, so that you can, project what you have coming down the pipeline. Right here you have an invoice processing dashboard. And this is going to generate a report
of all the invoices that are currently in the system, what status they're in, and you can even use it to calculate how much money you have going out. It'll give you your totals here. It'll give you all your vendor names here. And you have a nice little chart for all of your invoices. This is a great thing to give you some visibility into what's going on in your invoice processing. And we close the viewer and we come back home. And that is a little bit of how we import and work with documents in OnBase. Another way we bring them in is through our batch scanning, where you can scan or sweep in batches. This is where you would receive mail and it would come in and it would get scanned and it would come into these queues. And you could come in here and index them. And we come back to the personal page. And this is basically your one-stop shop to allow you to navigate OnBase. You also have file cabinets, which will allow you to look at your invoices for a given vendor. Come on. And the nice thing here is you have folders that show you what invoices are there, but you also have, it will show you down here what documents you have and what documents you're missing for a given invoice, which is a nice little feature. And you can work with the documents here just the same way as you work with them in any other part of the system. You come over to your Tasks tab, and if this had any tasks left to do, this just has Post to ERP, so we'll create our ERP file. And we'll remove it from the workflow. And then we come back home. So that is a very brief overview of some of the basic things you can do in OnBase. And there will be much more to come, I am sure. So thanks so much for watching.
Thank you so much. I hope this has given you a little bit of an introduction into what OnBase is and what it can do. Thank you so much for joining us today. I encourage you to go learn more at rpic.com/OnBase. You can find content. You can also find content on Kofax or Perceptive content as well. If you have any additional questions or you want to start your next project with RPI, give us a call or email us at the information on your screen and we'll be happy to help you out. Thanks so much and have a wonderful day. Any questions?
Yeah, can you hear me okay? All right. We had one question around that demo, asking if we could enlarge it. Do apologize that it wasn't more visible. When we post the video to our YouTube, we will be sure to make that demo video more visible. So keep an eye out for that. We also had a question, does RPI have any plans for additional webinars around OnBase?
Absolutely, yes we do. I'm currently working on the next 2 OnBase webinars and some tutorial videos in addition, so stay tuned. There's lots more information on the way. And if you have any particular topics you would like to see, please feel free to submit those to us. We love to hear from our people.
Yeah, and to add to that, we do have a webinar next month, again as part of our first Wednesday of each month, Wednesday webinar series. Our webinar next month will be drawing direct comparisons between Perceptive content and OnBase, both in terminology and feature set, to give many of our clients a deeper dive. A few questions coming in. Can you display a scanned document in QA?
Yes, you can. The short answer is yes. I would like to hear a little more clarification on exactly where you're going with in QA.
Okay, we'll see if any more clarification comes in, but generally, you know, with the QA process, we'd be looking for whether you can, you know, correct a misscanned document. So can you
Yes, absolutely.
rescan it?
Yes, within the production document imaging module, you have the ability to view a document as you scan it in so that you can look it over and correct any issues with it. That's part of what I was touching on with the image enhancement piece. I can go into more detail on that in a tutorial later on if you'd like.
Perfect. Thank you, Sydney. Another question. Can thumbnails display in a grid?
I believe they can. Let me check on that, and I will post a follow-up later on. I believe it can, but I want to confirm it.
Okay. Another question, is the application enabler browser-based?
App Enabler is its own standalone item. It's kind of a tag-along with Unity Client, so it can work with multiple different browsers and applications.
And I imagine the question was around what browsers would it support?
Currently, we do support, obviously, Microsoft Internet Explorer and Chrome. I believe there is also some support for Safari, but not quite as much.
Another question, does OnBase have any sort of out-of-the-box forms for brainware like invoices or transcripts? So in your OnBase workflow, I think, because brainware is going to continue existing.
Right.
For the OnBase workflow, are there any sort of product forms?
In the OnBase workflow, we generally don't use quote-unquote canned forms. Forms get built and their configurations can be exported and copied. But in Unity forms, we generally will, because it's all point-and-click configurable, there really hasn't been much demand for templates, so to speak. However, when you bring up brainware, you're looking at OCR, which OnBase's previous OCR solution was template-based.
Right, and I think one thing that's important to point out is that much of what has to be customized in Perceptive content, there's a lot more out-of-the-box functionality or configurable functionality in OnBase.
Right. OnBase does come from OnBase was built from the perspective of minimize custom code. We don't like using custom code. It's not that there are times when it's required and it can be a wonderful thing, but OnBase is engineered to minimize the use of custom code. So wherever possible, you will find things out of the box configurable with drop-down menus and radio buttons and options galore within a configuration interface rather than writing a bunch of custom code.
We also have a couple questions about what a Perceptive content to OnBase migration would look like. That is going to be highly dependent on what solutions you're currently running in Perceptive content.
Yes. As with any migration from a different imaging system to OnBase, what that looks like differs from situation to situation. I've done FileNet migrations. I've done migrations from Concur. I've done migrations from other systems. And each one is its own individual animal, so to speak. So it's difficult to pinpoint generically what a Perceptive to OnBase conversion would look like. If you would like more information, feel free to contact us and we can discuss your specific situation.
Absolutely, and we're happy to jump in and do an analysis of your existing implementation to give you a much finer detail on what it would take. Scanning our questions list, I don't have any more. As Sydney said, if you have any additional follow-up questions or would like any more detail on anything you've seen, please reach out.
Thank you so much, and have a wonderful afternoon.